परम करुणा पहुदुई जन निताई गौर चंद्र परम करुणा पहुदुई जन निताई गौर चंद्र सबय अवतार सार शिरोमणि केवल आनंद कंद सबय अवतार सार शिरोमणि केवल आनंद कंद भजो भजो भाई चैतन्य नीताई सुदृढ़ विश्वास कोरी भजो भजो भाई चैतन्य नीताई सुदृढ़ विश्वास कोरी विषय छाड़िया शिरसे माझिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि विषय छाड़िया शिरसे माझिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि देखो रे भाई त्रिभुवने नाय एमन दो दाता देखो रे भाई त्रिभुवने नाय एमन दो दाता पशु पक्षी झुरे पाषाण विदारे शुनि जार गुण गाथा पशु पक्षी झुरे पाषाण विदारे शुनि जार गुण गाथा संसारे माझिया रोहिली पोड़िया সেই পদ না হিল আশা সংসারে মাজিয়া রহিলি পরিয়া না হিল আশা আপনা कर में भुंजाए समान कहो लोचन दास अपना कर में भुंजाए समान कहो लोचन दास परम करुणा पहुदुई जन निताई गौरचंद्र परम So this song was composed by Lochan Das Thakur, a great Vaishnava in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he composed a very famous work. Anybody remembers? Chaitanya Mangal. So we have Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Bhagavat was composed by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, and Chaitanya Charitamrita was composed by Srila Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami. So these three, and actually Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami very humbly mentions that I have taken notes from these two great personalities from their works, including Murari Gupta, a wonderful associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this song he says, the two lords, Nitai Gaur Chandra are very merciful. They are the essence of all incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that they introduce a process of chanting and dancing that is simply joyful. My dear brother, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityanand with firm conviction and faith. If one wants to be Krishna conscious by this process, one has to give up his engagement in sense gratification. Oh, simply one has to chant Hare Krishna, Hari, Hari without any motive. Motive means material motive here. Transcendental motives are almost always welcome. My dear brother, just try and examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Their merciful qualities are so great that upon hearing them, even birds and beasts cry and stones melt. But Lochan Das regrets that I am entrapped by sense gratification. Since I have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, then Yamraj, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. So, such humility is always expressed by the great acharyas. So, now we continue the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Rai Ramananda from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter number 8. So, for those who have not heard of Chaitanya Charitamrita, can you raise your hands? The book? Okay. So, very quickly, the word Chaitanya means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On the left on the altar, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with Lord Nityananda. So, Lord Chaitanya is the Audharya avatar, the most magnanimous avatar, even more magnanimous than Krishna himself. But he is an avatar, or he is Sri Krishna himself, that appeared about 535 years ago in West Bengal. So, Audharya means the most munificent, the most kindest, the most charitable. And Chaitanya Charita means his pastimes or character, and Amrit means nectar. So, this is a very wonderful book that is composed by one of the great acharyas, Srila Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami, who composed this on the banks of the Radha Kund, who is a disciple of Raghunath Das Goswami. All these great personalities. And he composed this Chaitanya Charitamrita at the age in his mid-90s, where he says, my hands are trembling and my eyes cannot see. But even then, I make this attempt to compose this by the mercy of my Guru, Raghunath Das Goswami, by the mercy of these wonderful Gaudiya Vaishnava personalities, by the mercy of Radha Madan Mohan, by the mercy of Radha Govind Dev Ji, by the mercy of Gopinath Ji. So like this, he starts and he admits that he is so humble that he says that I am lower than a worm found in the stool. So this is the greatest qualities that we find of Vaishnavas. Although they perform humongous service to Krishna and tasks, they still feel that they are completely nothing. Everybody else is better than them. These are the qualities of such Vaishnavas. So, what we did last time is we set the foundation of what is the ultimate goal of life. Everybody has that question, especially those who are following a spiritual path. Somehow or the other, that question has always crossed our minds. And it has been very nicely discussed by Rai Ramananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this chapter of Madhya Leela. Chaitanya Charitamrita is divided into three phases, if I may say so. First is called the Adi Leela, the beginning, meaning Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's childhood and youthful pastimes. Then Madhya Leela, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with his associates, he is having wonderful conversations, his traveling of all over India, especially when he went to southern India, and conversations, teachings with many, many wonderful devotees, including Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, meeting Vaishnavas like Sri Vallabhacharya, glorifying Madhvendra Puri, and all these pastimes. And then the Antya Leela, meaning the last component of Chaitanya Charitamrita, where the conclusion of pure devotional service is explained in this Chaitanya Charita, including the Chaitanya Sistastakam. Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandamudi Vardhanam Pratipada Purnam Rita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapandam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam नाम नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्व शक्ति तत्र अर्पित नियमित स्मरणेन काला एतादर्शी तव कृपा भगवन् ममपि दुर्दैवम ईदृशम इह जानि नानुराग त्रिनादपि सुनीचेना तरोइव सृष्टना अमाने ना मान देना कीर्तन्या सदा हरि ना धनम ना जनम ना सुंदरीम कविता वा जगदीश कामे मम जन्मनि जन्मनि ईश्वरे भवतात् भक्ति रहितु की त्वयि अयि नंद तनुज किम करो पति तमाम विषमे भवाम बुधो कृपया तव पाद पंकज स्तुलिम सदृशम विचिंतया नयन गलदश्रुधारया वदनम गदगद हृदया गिरा पुलकीर्ण चितम वपु कदा तव नाम गृहणेषु भविष्यति युगायितम निमीषेना चक्षुषा प्रवशायितम शुनायितम जगत सर्वम गोविंद विरहे नमे आश्लिष पाद रताम पिनष्टु माम अदर्शनम मर्म हताम करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधातो लंपटो मत प्राणनाथस्य एव नापरः. And this is the only 8 verses that were actually composed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the rest of it, through his instructions, he encouraged his disciples, like Rup Sanatan Goswami to compose, Raghunath Das Goswami to compose books on rasa and tattva, philosophy and the mellows of pure Krishna consciousness. So, and we find that Srila Prabhupada, who is 32nd in line in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, Iskcon founder Acharya. He is the commander-in-chief of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan band, who has actually fulfilled the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prithvija adi nagaradi gram sarvatra hui bimor naam prachar. In every town and village, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had declared about 535 years ago that my holy name will be spread in every town and village. And his divine Srila Prabhupada fulfill the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No matter where you go in the world, everybody knows Hare Krishna. So that is and Gauravani Pracharine. In Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, we find that Prabhupada has been glorified because he is preaching the message or the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of pure devotional service. So this verse of number 57, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally meets Rai Ramananda on the banks of the Godavari River when he was on his tour of southern India, where they both meet in seclusion, and Rai Ramananda has asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you give me your benediction to speak whatever you ask me, because it is not that I am speaking, only you are speaking through me. So Prabhu kahe pada shloka sadhyara nirnoya. This is in Bengali, by the way, for those who are not accustomed to Chaitanya Charitamrita was composed in Bengali. So Prabhu kahe pada shloka sadhyara nirnoya, Rai kahe swadharma acharane Vishnu bhakti hoya. So due to the time constriction, we will not repeat the verse because we did it last time. But what is the essence of this verse? So what is the meaning of this verse? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Ramananda Rai recite a verse from the scriptures, from the revealed scriptures concerning the ultimate goal of life. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has set this very important siddhanta. Supposing if somebody is speaking about spirituality, some spiritual subject matters, then it has to be substantiated, authorized, based on three factors: sadhu, guru, sadhu, and shastra. Shastra meaning scriptures. So one cannot accept anything blindly. If one accepts anything blindly, nowadays, so many people speak on so many subject matters, but it has got nothing to do with the revealed scriptures. So if it is not in the scriptures, then one should not have faith in those that person's preaching or sermon or etc. So we have to listen to it as it is, and that is the pride of our Guru Parampara. We are pride. Our pride is we speak everything as it is. That is the most important. Prabhupada, when he got so much success and when he went back to India from the United States and Europe, even the Prime Minister of India at that time, Srimati Indira Gandhi, said that, Swamiji, you have done amazing. You have preached the name of Krishna all over the world. So, and the message of Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada simply very humbly said, I'm just like a postman. A postman in some of the rural areas in India, some people cannot read. So postman comes to their door and the postman is asked, the person asked that I cannot read. Can you read the letter for me? So the postman, he opens the letter and he reads it as it is. So sometimes he brings good news, sometimes he brings bad news, but he does not alter the message. So he said, I have just simply spoken this message of Krishna consciousness based on Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, based on the blessings of my Guru, what I have learned from him. I have not changed anything. That is the only credit I have. The credit goes to the Guru Parampara. The credit goes to all the Vaishnava Acharyas. I'm just a simple postman. That is, again, the humility that has been expressed by the Acharyas. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, please, I want to hear from you. And Lord sometimes decides to hear from his own devotees to glorify them. So it's not that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not spread the holy names all over the world. He can spread the holy names, if he wants, all over the creation in the different universal systems. But he selected his devotee, Srila Prabhupada, the founder of Acharya of Iskcon, to spread that so that Srila Prabhupada could be glorified. So we find that Ramanand Rai starts speaking now by the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So he says that if one executes the prescribed duties in the social order, he awakens the original Krishna consciousness. So he speaks about the Varnashram Dharma. Now, what is Varnashram Dharma? Varna and Ashram. This is something that Krishna also mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnyam Maya Sistam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. That's a very important verse. And if we understand this, then we can actually eradicate any doubts in our minds. In India, traditionally, some of the Orthodox Brahmins, etc., they are very proud, puffed up with a false ego, sense of false ego. We are Brahmins, born as Brahmins. But here Krishna says, it's not by birth. Chatur Varnyam Maya system, this Varnashram system is by two important things, Guna and Karma. Guna means the qualities one obtains, and Karma, by the activities. So it's not by Janma. So when those who consider themselves such and such, from a such and such a caste or such and such a, then that is not true, because that is contradicting not by birth, but it is by Guna and Karma. Clearly, Krishna has mentioned that in the Bhagavad Gita. So, Varna means the four Varnas. What are those four Varnas? The four Varnas are the Shudra, the laborer class, the Vaishyas, the mercantile class, the Kshatriyas, or the warrior class, or the administrative class, and the Brahmins, that are the intellectual class. So that these are the four Varnas. And what are the four ashrams? We find the ashrams are brahmacharya. The next is when some people get married, they enter into grihastha life. And then the next one, after grihastha life is finished, you progress into the vanaprastha, where you practice Krishna consciousness without trying to develop detachment to the family, etc. And then once one has perfectly followed varnashram, then they are capable of entering into the sannyas, taking the renounced order of life. So that is varna and ashram. So here, Rai Ramanan says that that is the dharma is to please Krishna by performing one's swadharma based on the varna and ashram, one's duty based on one's varna and ashram. Properly, one can satisfy Krishna. So, also there is a nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, we heard this verse from His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada a couple days ago. Ata pumbir dvijasreshtaha varnashrama vibhagashaha swa anustasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. So, Atapumbir Dvijasreshta, all mankind and even the Brahminical class, etc., the Varnashram, Vibhagasa, it's all divided in the mankind is divided into these 4 Varnas and 4 Ashrams to perform their specific duties based on their Varna and Ashram. And what is the reason? Samsiddhir Haritoshanam, to satisfy Sri Krishna. But what does he say? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard this shloka, because it was based on Shastra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prabhu kahe iha bahya, age kaho ar. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, iha bahya, this is external. Tell me more. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, kind of very mildly, he rejects this concept of varnashram system. Now we have to remember, while we are hearing this particular chapter, it is on a level of progression. It's a level of progression. Just like a child when he studies mathematics in the 2nd grade, or maybe then later on into middle school and then high school, there is progression. The mathematical teachings that the teachers teach, they become more and more complex. And as they graduate into college and post-graduation, and then as they even, some of them go into a PhD, then it's the same mathematics, the same concept, but it is of a higher complex. It's more and more complex. So depending on the realization. So it's nothing wrong with the varnashram system, because Krishna says that it's me, but it is basically for the progression of the soul or the persons in this material world. So the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this is bahya. So by declaring this as external, Mahaprabhu intended to convey that by following the system of varnashram, Vishnu is pleased, because the goal of varnashram is to please Vishnu. Vishnu is an incarnation of Krishna, none other than non-different, but only partially. Our acharyas comment that Vishnu is not, or Krishna is not completely 100% pleased. Why? Because the varnashram is not directly related to the constitutional nature of the jiva, which is jiver swarup hoy krishnir nityadas. That full realization does not happen in the varnashram system. It does not happen. And there is a tinge of sense gratification there, because in the varnashram, if I please Vishnu or I please Krishna, I will reap some benefits. So that I is a little bit, prominent in the varnashram. But it is still, somewhere you have to start. In other words, Bhagavad Gita also, it's in progression, the chapters. As we find that, Krishna speaks about the soul, Krishna speaks about ignorance, Krishna speaks about karma, and then Krishna kind of, very meticulously goes to Gyan, the different kinds of the levels, and then he comes to bhakti. So when Arjun fights in the battle, it is not out of duty or out of karma he fights, because Krishna at some point tells him that you are a Kshatriya. It will put you to shame if you don't perform your duty, right? Because you are a warrior, you are the Kshatriya class, and the warrior has to, He doesn't back out of a war. He is supposed to fight. It will give you infamy. So, all that being said, and when Krishna finally explained Bhakti Yoga, that pleasing me is the ultimate goal, then Arjuna decides to fight the war based on Bhakti. Nastamo smriti labda tvat prasadad maya achyuta gata sandeha stito asmi karishye vachanam tava. He says, now all my doubts have eradicated, O Krishna, by your mercy. Meaning, I have understood what bhakti is. Bhakti means pleasing Krishna. Just in 2 words. So Krishna says you fight. Then you must fight. That is bhakti. Krishna says you jump from this mountain. Then you jump. Whatever Krishna says, we do it. Of course, Krishna or Krishna's bona fide representative. Not different. Sakshat haritvena samasta shastra uktas tatha bhav yata eva sadbhi kinto prabhoya priya eva tasya vande guru shri charanarvindam. We sing that every day. So, that is bhakti. So, Nashtamo smriti labda tvat prasadat, by your mercy, O Krishna, gata sandeha, all my doubts have been eradicated. Stito asmi, now I am situated in my intelligence. And karishye vachanam tava, exactly I will do exactly as you say. And so not based on karma, not based on gyan, not based on any other, but only for satisfying Krishna. On the premises of bhakti, Arjun picked up the bow and arrow and thus started fighting based on Krishna's will. So but Krishna had to explain other lower levels, if I may use those words, so that he can slowly and gradually understand what bhakti yoga is. Suddenly you cannot inject something of a very high level subject matter without actually understanding the basis of the foundation. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to hear, and who is Rai Ramananda is none other than Radharani's best friend Vishakha. So it is Vishakha having a conversation with who? Radha and Krishna in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So obviously, when we have, even sometimes we find in our own experience, when there are some very, very senior Vaishnavas or very elevated Vaishnavas, then their subject matter is of a very, very elevated nature. Right or wrong? So similarly, here we find that this subject matter is of the highest nature. And that is what the ultimate goal of life is going to be explained in this particular conversation. So then he said, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is external varnashram, he said, okay, then karma arpana. And he quotes, so just not simply, again, we have to remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have to substantiate with a proper befitting verse from the scripture. So he quotes Bhagavad Gita, Rai Ramananji. He says, Yat karoshi yat asnasi, juhosi dadasi yata, yat tapasyaksa kaunteya, tat kurushva mad arpanam. So whatever you do, that is karma, yoga, whatever you do, you offer it to me. Whatever austerities you perform, you offer it to me. Tat kurushva mad arpanam. O Arjun, you offer it to me. So, here also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Eho Bhaiya, this is external. Aage kaho aur, tell me more. So, why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say very quickly on this that this is external? Because here also in Karma Yoga, okay, this is great that we bring some fruits, vegetables, and we prepare some very nice sattvic preparations and we offer it to Krishna, don't we? And we take prasadam, right? But what is the main purpose? Most of us, we do that out of a formality. So that, and we have understood that not because Krishna is hungry, it is because the instruction of the Shastras is, like Bhagavad Gita says, that if you eat something without offering me, Krishna says that you are verily eating sin. Tetam aham papam. Krishna says that it is the most sinful thing if you don't offer it to me. So most people are scared. So therefore we will offer it to Krishna first and then we will accept it as prasada. So again, here there is a tinge of sense gratification that, oh, I will go to hell. It is sinful if I don't offer it to Krishna. it is sinful, because here Krishna says, there's a verse in the 3rd chapter in Karma Yoga. Krishna says that. What is that verse, sir? What is that verse? In Bhagavad Gita, he says that Yajna Sistina Santo Muchyante Sarva Kil Vishaya Tetam Agama Papam Pachanti Atma Karana. So whatever you offer, whatever you do, you offer it to me. Otherwise, you will get a reaction. You will get a reaction. So, in order to avoid that reaction, Krishna is so kind, he's helping us, because otherwise we will continuously, in this karmic reaction, will be reborn again and again and again and again. Puna puna janam puna puna maranam janani jatane shayanam. Sri Shankaracharya says this. Again and again we will be born, and again and again we will be tied to the umbilical cord of different mothers, born to different mothers. It's the cycle which even Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. It's a non-stop cycle, and that is what the meaning of the word samsara is. Samsara means a chakkadi, a cycle, non-stop cycle that you cannot avoid. So Krishna wants that, we start somewhere. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even considers that as external. Then he says, giving up one's swadharma, meaning give up all different, we all have dharma or duties, right? We have a duty of doing this, going to work. We have a duty towards our family. We have a duty towards our relatives. We have a duty to our community. We have a duty to our state. We have a duty to our country. We have a duty to mankind. That's what people talk about all the time, duty. So there are different kinds of duties that are there based on time, place, and circumstances. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he quotes the verse about karma arpana. He says that, we already gave the explanation of karma arpana means you offer everything to Krishna, including foodstuffs and whatever you. So then he says, he talks about this most famous verse he quotes from Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshashyami Ma Sucha. This is one of the most important and the most highly quoted verse of Bhagavad Gita. So here, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Eho Bhaiya. This is also external. Aage kaho. Now, can you believe this? For us, every day, we hear this is the highest of the highest. Sarva Dharman Parityajya. What is wrong in this picture? Again, it's the gradation of the understanding and the realization of who is and why. So now there's a reason why Mahaprabhu says this verse is external. I mean, the verse is perfect in itself. Krishna says that you give up all varieties of different religion and you surrender unto me. Once you surrender unto me, do not fear, O Arjuna. So here the three words, do not fear, or the two words in Sanskrit, ma sucha, are what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't like in this verse, and for a certain high level. Why? Because Arjuna had to be convinced by Krishna that you give up everything and do exactly as I'm saying and not worry about any sinful reactions. Do not worry. So that means Krishna had to give him that assurance. Whereas the Vrajvasis, due to spontaneous love of Krishna, if Krishna says do something, Krishna doesn't have to tell me do not fear. They do it spontaneously. You see, this is the main point why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called this external. Like, give a quick example. Once Krishna he feigned a pain in his body, like in the stomach, in Dwarka, and he was in so much pain. So then all the queens of Dwarka, 16,108 queens, including the chief queens, Satyabhama, Rukmini, Jamvati, etc., Mitravinda, they were all there and they were concerned. And they were crying and says, what can we do? What can we do? They tried to bring the best doctors. And those doctors also tried to mitigate Krishna's pain. And nothing happened. At that time, Naradji appeared. And what happened? Lo and behold, Naradji saw that. And the queens said that, Naradji, you know everything. Please tell us how to mitigate Krishna's pain. So Naraji says, you know what? The best person is not me. Ask him. What's the best way to mitigate his pain? Maybe he will reveal it. Nobody asked him what to do. So Krishna said, he said, okay, the best medicine for me is if you all can, or any one of you here can give me the dust of your feet, I can just mix it in water and drink it, and I think my pain will be cured. So Naraji says, what's the big deal? Here, Rukmaniji, come forward. Your husband wants your dust of your lotus feet. Rukmaniji backed out. Oh, Naraji, what are you saying? He is my Lord and Master. How can I? I will go to hell. And he looked at all the other queens and all of them backed out and they said, Naraji, this is a sin. He is our Lord and Master Krishna. We cannot give them our dust, our padadhuli. Not possible. All the Dwarkavasis, everybody was asked and they all refused and said, no, 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 he is our Lord and Master. So Krishna says, okay, Naraji, go to Vrindavan. And as soon as Naraji came to Vrindavan, everybody knows that when Naraji arrives, he always brings some message from Krishna or Lord Narayana from the spiritual sky. So all the gopis gather around Naraji. Naraji, how is our Krishna doing? And Naraji says, not that great. Oh, and have the gopis swooned just by hearing that our Krishna is not doing well. Finally, when they came to their senses, they said that, but what happened? Well, he has this acute pain in his stomach and they tried everything, but they said, well, Dwarka is a big city. They must have big doctors. No, nothing happened. But Krishna said that there is a solution. Solution is that if any one of you can give us the dust of your lotus feet, he will mix it with water and take it. So the gopis started scratching their feet and gathering the dust in their upper cloth. And they all gathered it and said, Naraji here. And Naraji said, you're not afraid of going to hell? All the queens of Dwarka and the Dwarkavasis, they were afraid of going to hell because he is the Lord and Master. He said, as long as our Krishna's pain is mitigated, we don't mind going to hell for eternity. So this kind of conviction is found in Vrindavan or in Raj. There Krishna doesn't have to convince them. If he says something, and that is what the gopis had already surrendered to Krishna. We find that in the in the Pancha Maharasa Adhyaya of Srimad Bhagavatam, how Krishna called them in the middle of the night by playing his flute, and they came giving up their husbands and their family and everybody, not caring and they did not have to be assured about anything. And that is the reason this Sarva Dharman Parityaja. So far that is good, the first part. But the last part of it, Masucha, is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had an objection and he said, this is external. Because Arjun had to be convinced that, you fight. You just surrender to me and don't worry, I will take care of your sinful reactions. So there was a certain assurance that had to be given to Arjun. And that is the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered that as Bahya or external. Then Rai Ramananji quotes another verse from the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma na sochati na kamshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktir labbate param. So here, this verse is an amazing verse and it's wonderful. The meaning is just superb. It says, Brahma Bhuta, one who is self-realized, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma is always happy, is always very happy. Vaishnava is always happy. The other day, we explained the meaning of the word Prahlad. What is the meaning of the word Prahlad? Prakrishta Rupena iti Allad. Prakrishta means extremely. Allad means joy. One who is in extreme joy, his name is Prahlad. Namaste Narsingaya Prahlad Lada Daine. So one who even gives joy to Prahlad. Narsingadev, Prahlad Lad. So Allad means joy. So one who even gives joy to Prahlad, Narsingadev. So a Vaishnava is always happy. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Na sochati na kankshati. He never laments on anything or never hankers after anything. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu. And he looks upon everybody equally. because he sees that they are all parts and parcels of Krishna. Mamayamsha Jiva Loko Jiva Bhuta Sanatan. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita. That's a very amazing vision, to look upon everybody equally, seeing that they are parts and parcels of Krishna, and Krishna is present in everybody's heart as Paramatma. Brahmabhuta Prasanna Atma. Na sochati na kash sama sarveshu bhutasya mad bhaktir labhyate param. Such persons obtain my param bhakti. So here the objection that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he says that, okay, evo bhaiya, even this verse, thank you very much, my dear Ramanand. Aage kaho aur, please tell me more. This is also external. So what was the objection here? So the objection here is that the word Brahma is being used. There's a lot more to this, but because of the time, I'm looking at the clock and I said I have to cover quite a bit here. It's flowing here. So Brahma means also the non-differentiated Brahman, which the Mayavadis, they want to merge into. So there is this connotation here, and so many Mayavadis have taken this verse and interpreting it in such a way that interpretation is that ultimate goal is to merge into Brahman. So one who has merged into Brahman is always very happy, Prasannatma. And obviously when we are all the same, we are equal, as they say, the Mayavadis, right? And those who are merged in the Brahman, who have got their Brahman realization, they don't hanker after anything because they have already attained the highest as per their philosophy. Get the point here, the meaning based on the Vaishnava philosophy and based on the Mayavad philosophy. So, and they look upon everybody equally, yes, because we are all equal. The Mayavadi philosophy is we are all equal. So therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kind of says, this has a double meaning, and I don't really like the double meaning of this verse. A lot of people can take it otherwise. So which is true that the Mayavadis exactly interpret this in their own fashion about that non-differentiated Brahma Jyoti. So then he progresses again into another verse, and then he actually quotes verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, and in the 14th chapter, the words of Lord Brahma, which is the Jnana Shunya Bhakti, bhakti which is not permeated with zero knowledge, meaning material knowledge. Jnana Shunya. Shunya means zero, a bereft of jnana. That is the ultimate goal. Sadhya sar. Sadhya means the ultimate goal of life, or the ultimate goal of a being, of a soul. So he quotes this verse, Jnane prayasam udapasya namanteva jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadaya vartam sthane sthita shruti gatam tanuva manobhir ye prayas jito ajito api Trailokyam. So Lord Brahma quotes this wonderful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. I think it's in the 14th chapter of the 10th canto. Lord Brahma says that Sri Krishna, the sadhana to obtain Krishna is an object that is beyond the senses. To obtain Sri Krishna is beyond the senses, with the help of knowledge obtained by the senses. So some people try to obtain Krishna or God by the dint of their knowledge or by the dint of their material senses. And that is called the Arohavad, meaning it is a futile and a laborious ascending process. Jnana is a very laborious process. Even when somebody goes into a lot of tapasya, that is austerities. That's a laborious process. Or it is also called the ashruta patha, the path devoid of ashruta. Or shruta means to listen, and ashruta means not listening. Ashruta pantha, which is devoid of oral reception of the Vedic principles. So a lot of them, they don't want to hear. And hearing is the first process. Shravanam, and the nine processes of bhakti, the Navda bhakti, first is Shravanam. Prabhupada has laid so much stress. If you hear properly, then you can do Kirtanam. Just like even in our practical experience, even when a child, a little baby, just starting to talk, then we have to, it's the Shravanam. He hears that, baby hears. Say mama, say papa, say grandpa, and you repeat that, and then one day immediately the child will say papa or mama. So that is through Shravanam. After Shravanam, the speaking part comes, the Kirtanam. And when Shravanam happens nicely, Kirtanam happens nicely, the next is Smaranam. So when we are even chanting, when we hear properly from a spiritual master, or we hear from some elevated Vaishnavas, when we hear Harikatha, right? Then we are able to repeat it and give it to others. And then when we are chanting the holy names, to get into a higher ecstasy like the Goswamis did, then they used to do smaranam of those leelas, of those pastimes that they had heard from their predecessors. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, these are the three most important and out of the three, out of the 9 processes, the first one, Shravanam, is the most important. So however, those who do not take to an endeavor for jnana and who instead maintain their lives by exclusively rendering service to the descriptions of your pastimes, O Krishna, flowing from the mouths of the sadhus by body, mind, and words, are able to conquer you. The words that have been used is Jito, Ajito Apiva. So one of the names of Krishna is Ajita. Ajit means where the word is, Jit means to conquer. And Ajit means one who cannot be conquered. So one can even conquer the unconquerable Krishna by mind, words, and the body, mind, and words, by giving an oral reception from the sadhus. That even Krishna will be captured by those devotees. So Prabhu says, now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is interested. So he says, Eho Hoya. Instead of saying Eho Bahya, he says Eho Hoya. Okay, now you're talking. I like that. He tells Ramananda Rai, based on this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Aage kaho, tell me more. So now here basically he has established the fact of pure bhakti based on oral reception from the Vaishnavas, bereft of any jnana or empirical knowledge. So that is something that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liked very much. So then Ramananda Rai says, Premera Bhakti Sarva Sadhyasar. So now there are many types of bhakti, but that kind of bhakti that gives you Krishna prem, that kind of bhakti is the ultimate goal of life. So then he quotes again some verses. One of them is Nana Upchara Krita Pujanam Artha Bandho Premaiva Bhakti Hridayam Sukha Vidurtam Syata Yavat Shuddha Asti Jathare Jarat Pipasa Tavata Sukhayo Bhavato. Meaning, as long as there is hunger and thirst within the stomach, varieties of food and drink make one feel very happy. So as you keep eating, if you're hungry and if you keep eating and drinking, it satisfies us, right? So similarly, when the Lord is worshipped with pure love, the various activities performed in the course of the worship awaken transcendental bliss in the heart of the devotee. So just as food and water satisfies the belly, similarly, if the Lord is worshipped with pure love, pure devotional service, which is prem bhakti, then any activities performed by that devotee is always it's transcendently blissful. Rupa Goswami, he also, it is quoted in the Padyavali. Padyavali is a book that Rupa Goswami compiled with many, many different verses from the essence of pure bhakti from different scriptures. So one very wonderful verse that Srila Prabhupada used to always quote Rupa Goswami on this particular verse is Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matiha Kriyatam Yadi Kuto Abhilabhyate Tatra Lolyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukrutam Na Labhyate. Meaning, pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activities. So some people have the impression if we perform pious activities, we can get pure devotional service. No. Pure devotional service or prema Krishna prema is independent of any kind of pious activities also. Even performing pious activities for hundreds and thousands and millions of lives, that will not bring us to the platform, or punya karma will not bring us to the platform of Shuddha Bhakti. It can only be obtained by only paying one price. Anybody knows what is the price of pure bhakti? Very famous verse. Prabhupada always quoted this in many, many places. Lolyam, greed. We also sing that in the Mangal Arati. Shri Radhika Madhavya Parya Madhurya Leela Guna Rupa Nam Nam Prati Shanaswa Dana Lolupasya. With greed, the Acharya is singing the Nam Guna Rupa of Radha and Krishna. The names, the beauty, etc. So, Rup Goswami mentions this. Tatra lolyam, only greed. We all have greed. Don't we have greed? We have greed for so many things. Greed for money, greed for so many other things, material things, assets. So that greed, Prabhupada says, it has to be dovetailed for greed for Krishna consciousness, for Krishna prema. We don't have to eradicate greed because we cannot take those qualities away. All those qualities that we have is all from Krishna. So these qualities have to be used for Krishna's service. So it can be attained only by paying one price, ekamulyam, only one price. That is intense greed. And if it is available somewhere, grab it immediately. That's what is there. So then further in this conversation, Rai Raman says that dasya prema sarva sadhya hoy. The Krishna prem in the mellow of servitorship as a dasya, right? As a servant of Krishna in that mood. And so we all know that there are 5 mellows, first being Shantaras, but the Vaishnavas are not interested in that. And there are 4 that the Vaishnavas are primarily interested in. Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. So Dasya is the servitorship. So that in servitorship, as a servant of the Supreme Lord, Sarva Sadhya hoy, that is the ultimate goal of life. So the Mahaprabhu says, that's great, but tell me more. So he doesn't reject that, but he says, that's great, tell me more. So like this, Rai kahe, Sakhya prema sarva sadhya sar. Then he says the friendship, making a friend, making Krishna your friend is the ultimate goal of life, or the goal of the devotee. So, and then he describes in those chapters how different kinds of friendship is there. There is Sambrama Prem, there is Vishramba Prem. Sambrama Prem is where there is the prema of, in Ramayana we find Sambrama Prem is that of Vibhishan with Lord Ramachandra. But it still has some, what do you call, maryada, meaning awe and reverence, even in that friendship. But there is the Vishramba Prem of the coward boys of Krishna that we see there, where there is equality. So if Krishna loses, Krishna, you catch your ears and you sit up and down and you have to carry us now across, that's the deal. So what? You're the son of Nanda Maharaj. We don't care. Madhu Mangal says that I am the son of a poor Brahmin, but you lost. Krishna, come on. So Krishna abides. He says, okay, Madhu Mangal, no issues here, So that is a different kinds of prema he describes even in friendship. So then he says, Rai kahe Sakhya prema sarva sadhya sar. And then Prabhu kahe, Eho uttam. Now this is very good. I like this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Eho uttam. Uttam means this is very nice. This is great. Aage kaho, but please tell me more. So now here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is inspiring what he wants to hear from Rai Ramananda eventually. So Prabhu kahe, Rai kahe, Vatsalya Prema Sarva Sadhya Sar. The love for Krishna in the parental love for Krishna is indeed uh, Sarva Sadhya Sar, the ultimate. So the essence. So, excuse me. So, like this, he explains. And again, due to time constrictions, I don't have time to go into the different details, but it's the essence that we are going to, before we wrap this session up. So, Prabhu kahe, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ehottam, this is also great. I love it. Aage kaho, but tell me more. So, Rai kahe, Kanta Prema Sarva Sadhya Sar. So, Kanta Prem means conjugal love. Kanta. You remember that in Brahma Samhita, that word is being used in the 56th verse of Brahma Samhita. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo. So Kanta, the conjugal love, where Lord Brahma is given that vision and sees Golok Vrindavan, Lakshmi Shastra Sambhrama Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. We sing that every morning. The Brahma is given that vision. Now this particular Brahma is very fortunate. He gets that the darshan of Golok Vrindavan and the devotees of Golok Vrindavan and the gopis, and ultimately even he concludes that Kanta, the conjugal love. So Kintu Yandra Yehi Rasa Shehi Sarvottama Tattastha Hana Virachirile Ache Tatra Dharma. So it is true that whatever relationship a particular devotee has with the Lord is best for him. So somebody may have Dasyaras, somebody may have Vatsalyaras, somebody may have Sakyaras. They're all best. But still, in Chaitanya Charitamrita it says, when we study all the different methods from a neutral perspective, we can understand that there are higher and lower degrees of love. So, this is a very important point. All love is a speciality, no doubt. Example, so that we can understand this without making without making any offenses or without speculation. Excuse me. Love, that means we have in our practical life. The love that a husband has for a wife is different from what that person has for his kids. It is different from what that person has for his mother and father. It is different from what that person has love for his friends. It is different from that kind of love. A boss can be very, very loving for his subordinates or for his servants. So all these loves or the affections are different in nature. It's the same person, but relationships are different. So here it has been concluded by Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ashanta Dasya Sakya Vatsalya Guna Madhurete Vaishe. Out of that, the conjugal rasa, therefore the qualities found in Shanta, Dasa, Rasakya, found in the other three rasas or mellows of servitorship, of fraternity, and of parental are already encompassed. They're found and Vatsalya rasa, they're all found and manifest in the conjugal rasa or the Madhurya rasa. Ei premra anurupa na para bhajite ateva rini hoye kahe bhagavate. In Srimad, so here Rai Raman quotes this wonderful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam supporting this particular verse. He says that Ei premra anurupa, and this conjugal ras is so high compared to the other mellows. Ataiva rini hoy, Krishna says that I am eternally indebted to those devotees or those gopis of Vrindavan in the conjugal love. So in the Srimad, and he quotes Srimad Bhagavatam here, Rai Ramanand, from the 10th chapter, 32nd verse, from the 10th canto, 32nd chapter, where he says that it is said that Lord Krishna cannot proportionally reciprocate devotional service in the Madhurya Rasa. So this particular verse especially, what is that verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna can reciprocate according to one's seva? What is that famous verse? Ye yathamam prapadyante tamsa tathaiva bhajami ham. As per one's devotion to me, I reciprocate accordingly. But here this verse completely fails. Here Rai Ramanand has declared that, quoting Srimad Bhagavatam, quoting Krishna's own words. The Lord Krishna cannot, he uses this particular verse, na paray aham nirvadya samyuddham swa sadhu kritayam vibudhyarupi vaha ya mad bhajan duraja geha shrinkalaha samsrishya tadvaha pratiyatam sadhuna. Meaning, when the gopis were overwhelmed with the dissatisfaction due to Lord Krishna because he left them, in separation, right? So in his absence, when Krishna returned, he said, "My dear gopis, I have offended you all." And he falls at Radharani's feet. Actually, he falls at Radharani's feet. I'm very extremely sorry, he says. Our meeting is certainly free of all material contamination. Even when we met so many times in seclusion against the so-called social principle, although you were married and you gave up your life and your husbands and you left the homes, I must admit, Krishna says this. This is the verse number 32 of the 10th canto. I must admit that in many lives it would be impossible for me, even if I took many, many births, it would be impossible for me to repay my debt to you, because you have cut off the bondage of family life just to search for me. Your love is of such highest of the highest zenith, pinnacle. Consequently, I am unable to repay my debt to you. Therefore, please be satisfied with your own honest activities, or please be satisfied. Your compensation, my dear gopis, is your own glories. The love that you have displayed for me is your compensation and your glories. And that is the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, anybody remembers the three internal reasons why he came? We spoke about that the other day. Actually, four reasons. The first reason was external, which is giving the holy names, spreading Sankirtan. But he came for his three internal reasons. I sang that one song in the beginning. Yadi gaur na hoito, tabe ki hoito, ke mone dhari tamde. Radhara mahima, prema rasa sima, jagat janat ke. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not come, Vasugo says, an associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who composed this song, how would I have lived any further? It is only because Mahaprabhu came I was able to live on. And why he came? Radhara Mahima Prema Rasasima, to glorify the love of Srimati Radharani that she has for Krishna. The Prema Rasasima, the ultimate, the zenith of Krishna Prem is found in Srimati Radharani. How would the world have known Jagat Janatake if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not come and glorified Srimati Radharani? That what is true Krishna Prem, or the highest of the highest, Jagata Janatake. So, like this, and ultimately I will end this in a couple minutes. Prabhu kahe ei sadhya sunischaya kripa kori kaho yadi age kichu hoya. So sweet. Mahaprabhu says that yes, this is certainly the limit of perfection. This is certainly the limit of perfection, conjugal love, or Madhya said. But please be merciful to me and speak more if there is more. Amazing. And what does Ramanand Rai say? Rahe kahe iha rage, puche hai na jone, etadina nahi jani, acha e bhuvane. Rai Raman said, until this day, I did not know anyone within this material world who could inquire beyond this perfectional stage of devotional service. So your inquiry, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is beyond. Nobody has inquired. This is the ultimate. So then, finally, there's a lot of verses, but I will end this with one more verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita from the 8th chapter. He says, Inara madhye radhara prema sadhya shiromani yanara mahima sarva shastreva khani. Among the loving affairs of the gopis, Ramananda said, Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna is topmost indeed. The glories of Srimati Radharani are highly esteemed in all revealed scriptures. So then, there's a wonderful conversation that even goes past that, and there comes a point where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to shut Ramananda Rai's mouth like that. Okay. And finally, he shows his form of Radha and Krishna separated from his body to Rai Ramananda. And Rai Ramananda, simply looking at that form of those two forms, Radha and Krishna, he faints. And after some time, he comes to his external consciousness, and they both hug each other and profusely cry, because here is Vishakha Sakhi meeting Radha and Krishna after a long time in their separation. And the ecstasy is unlimited that they both, or the three of them, if I may, and they experience. So this is a very wonderful chapter. This may take many weeks if we discuss every verse of it, or at least the important verses. And that are, we can do that even if there's a few devotees who are interested, because this is the ultimatum. This is the ultimatum. We as followers of Mahaprabhu, we should know what the ultimate goal of life is, even though it may take us millions of lifetimes to achieve it. Just knowing that Krishna. Everybody we ask, it's all about only Krishna. No, this chapter is not about Krishna. It's about Radharani. That's Krishna himself wanting to hear about the ultimate goal of life, which is the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Radha Dasya. We have to learn the Vaishnava bhajans. Bhaktivinoda Thakurji's, Narottam Das Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one of the bhajans, he says that glorifies Srimati Radharani and the servitorship to Srimati Radharani in Bhajan Lalsa, in a book called Sharanagati. He says, Dekhite, dekhite, bhulibo vakabe, nijastula sharira, nayane rivo, vrajapura shobha, nityachit anandamoy, vrishabhanupure, janama hoilo, yavate viva hoive. Just this couple lines. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is aspiring. Dekhite, dekhite. When will the day come when I will give up this gross material body and this concept of this material body? Dekhite, dekhite. Bhulibo vakabe. When will I forget this external consciousness? Bhulibo vakabe. Nijastula sharira. This gross body. Nayane herivo vrajapura shobha. When will I see with my own eyes the magnificent Vraj? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one context that when we go to Vrindavan, what do we see? Most of us, we see that there is dirt and there is traffic, and we see people taking selfies and all those other activities. Vrindavan is completely transcendental, but he says our consciousness is polluted. That is why we cannot see the real Vrindavan. Vrindavan is Chintamani prakara sadmashu kalpa vriksha lakshat vritashu surbhir palayantam. Right? That's even today, to those realized souls, they can see that. But our consciousness is polluted. This is New Vrindavan is not different from Vrindavan. But we sometimes don't appreciate it because our consciousness is polluted. So he says, when will that day come when I will be seeing the transcendental Vrindavan, Nayane Herivo, Vrajapura Shobha, Nitya Chit Anandamoy in full bliss. Vrishabhanu Pure Janam Hoyo. These are the two lines that I'm going to stress. It is my desire that when I be born again, I would like to be born in Barsana. Vrishabhanu Pure Janam Hoilo. Why? Because my Radharani grew up there in Barsana. So I can serve her, I can play with her. I can, that's my ultimate goal. Rishabhanupuri janama hoilo, yavate viva hoy. And then when my Radharani grows up a little and she becomes a teenager, she gets married to Abhimanyu in a town called Yavat, which is not too far from Barsana. So I would also like to get married in Yavat. That is Radha Dasyam, ultimate samam bonam. So again, according to the festivities and the time that we have tried to take up this topic. It would not be very suitable on a regular day, but still, Srila Prabhupada has given this, so I shared this with all of you. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Rai Ramanand ji ki, Gaur Purnima festival ki, Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Gurudev, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So it's past 9 o'clock. Anybody wants to take prasad or any questions, they can stay back. I'm here. If there are any questions, I can take them. But we will conclude the class now. Yes.
Lord Chaitanya only left these 6 verses.
8.
8, sorry. 8
Yeah.
verses. So he came with a very specific purpose to give this highest possibility. So what do we understand? How do we understand the Shikshastakam? How do we understand?
How do we understand the highest of the? This question is a very valid question, but Sistastakam, Chaitanya Sistastakam is a bottomless ocean. And based on the realization of the devotee, it keeps going and going and growing and growing. But the Samam Bonam of Chaitanya Sistastakam is basically, the last verse especially, is actually Radharani speaking it. Ashlisha padaratam pinashtumam darshanam marma hatam karotuva yatha tathava vidato lamputo mat prananatha sevana paraha. Meaning, whether you kick me or embrace me, you are indeed my master, Lord and Master, no matter what. So we find that Krishna gives so much pain to the gopis in separation, but even then, especially Srimati Radharani says, that's all right. You can do as you please. But for me, so that is the summum bonum of that verse. And this entire Sistastakam is basically, the first verse is a synopsis, like Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 is the synopsis of the entire introduction of the Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, the first verse of Chaitanya Sistastakam is the remaining 7 verses, and they are amazing. By the mercy of Guru Gauranga, I think I did about 22 sessions. It's available on my website of the Chaitanya Sistastakam as much as I could, and they're each about 2.5 hours each. So as much as I could based on my understanding, but it is definitely, if one understands the Sistastakam or at least scratches the surface, one has understood Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's goal, or what our Gaudiya Vaishnava's ultimate goal is. It's all in the Chaitanya Sistastakam. Everything. And we are distinctly separate from the other Vaishnava Sampradayas. And it is all there in the Chaitanya Sistastakam in the 8 verses. Who we are, what our identity is. Just like a student goes to a school who wears uniform, every school has a unique uniform. Just like we have a unique tilak, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, right? Similarly, it's just not the tilak. It's our bhav, our consciousness is also extremely unique, extremely different, and of the highest concept, which is unfathomable because of Srimati Radharani, because she is unfathomable. Mahaprabhu is unfathomable, but he has still been so kind that he came and he opened those doors, he opened the dam of love. He inundated us. And this Mahamantra is sufficient in itself to give us that. If it is done properly with that consciousness, then we can find all those 8 verses. Full realization can be obtained through the proper chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And as we chant more, Chaitanya Srishtastakam will reveal us, just like it's a live personality. Because Krishna, Mahaprabhu's words and them themselves are non-different. The name, holy name of the Lord, the words of the Lord, the Leela of the Lord, the paraphernalia of the Lord, they're non-different. So Bhagavad Gita is non-different from Krishna. Chaitanya Srishtastakam is non-different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it is the highest. Actually, Srila Prabhupada's senior godbrother, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the golden volcano of divine love. He is the golden volcano of divine love. And what is a volcano? What's the nature of the volcano? It erupts. And when this golden volcano erupted in the Gambhira, Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami in the 20th chapter is all about, in the Antya Leela, is the entire Chaitanya Srishtastakam explained. Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami in the Antya Leela of the 20th chapter. So Sridhar Maharaj says, when this golden volcano of divine love erupted, the Chaitanya Srishtastakam is the golden lava that flowed from that golden volcano of divine love. And he has written a wonderful book also under that name, The Golden Volcano of Divine Love. So if you get your hands on it, please read it. You have access to it. It's an amazing book. Amazing. He has explained every verse of the Chaitanya Srishtastakam. And everyone, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, in Chaitanya Charitamrita by translating Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami's words and giving his Bhakti Vedanta purports, they all have commented, all our acharyas have commented, and they are just nectar. A rasgulla dipped in an unlimited ocean of sweet sugar water. Haribol. Srila Prabhupada Gurudev ki jai.
Very nice class. Very, very nice class.
Thank you, Rose. Hare Krishna. All glories to Guru Varanga.